Welcome to a story that drifts between dreams and reality, where time slows and the world feels soft. Here there are no rushes, no hurry, just the gentle stage, the quiet mask and the soft, soothing applause. As the curtain rises, the shadows stretch calmly, waiting for you, waiting for me to perform. Every movement is slow, serene and peaceful. You'll soon find that once the mask is worn, the story continues, floating along with you. The show unfolds at your own pace. Step into the performance. Step into our world, where there is no pressure, no demands, only gentle steps forward. Feel the weight of the day slip away as you enter this calm, dreamlike place. Are you ready to join the show, to let go and drift into the story? Let the performance begin, softly and slowly. Chapter 1. The First Day. I don't know exactly when it started. It wasn't an event. Not really. It wasn't like I walked into the classroom one day and suddenly realized something was wrong. It built up over time, like moss creeping up the side of a stone wall, slow, unnoticed, until you can't stop seeing it. It began with the new teacher, Mrs. Daniels. You see, we'd just moved to this town, Hollow Creek, a place most people only knew about because of the bizarre rumors that circled it, like flies over a carcass. The school was small, a cramped little building with peeling paint and hallways that smelled like old books and damp wood. They'd just finished a renovation, or so they said, but the smell didn't really change. The kids were all a little off, too, not in a bad way, just peculiar. Like they had secrets stitched into their skin. I hated it from the start. The air in Hollow Creek had a weight to it. It pressed down on my shoulders, my lungs, and when I looked out the window in the classroom, there were trees that seemed to grow just a bit too tall, too close to the building. Sometimes I thought I could see something moving in the branches. But that's another story. Mrs. Daniels didn't help. She wasn't what I expected for a new teacher. For one thing, she was way too bright. I don't mean cheerful or perky, though there was that, too. I mean her physical presence. Everything about her radiated a strange intensity, like she was more than just a person standing in front of a classroom. She had this glow. It wasn't like any normal glow. No, it was a soft, sickly kind of glow, like the light you see in old broken lanterns, the kind that flickers with a shadow. Her eyes, though, were the worst part. They weren't quite right. They were dark, like a well you couldn't see the bottom of. When she looked at you, it was like she was seeing something inside of you. Something deep, and it made me feel naked. At first, I tried to ignore it. I told myself I was just being paranoid. Maybe it was just the new town getting to me, or the fact that everything was so unfamiliar. I tried to focus on the lessons, but it was hard. There was always this weight in the air when Mrs. Daniels was near, like her presence was suffocating the room. She spoke to us like we were all old friends, which, of course, we weren't. Her voice was soft, almost musical, with a cadence that made the words sound too smooth, too measured. She'd call on us with such odd ease, knowing the answer before we even raised our hands. I began to notice the little things, how she would never fully smile. Not with her mouth, at least. Her lips were always pressed together, thin, tight, like they were holding something back. And when she smiled with her eyes, it was wrong. Sometimes I thought I could hear a faint click when she blinked. It didn't help that she always wore the same thing. A dark green dress, high-necked, with long sleeves that seemed to swallow her hands. She would sweep into the classroom each morning like some kind of phantom, a shadow in the flesh, always carrying that sickly light with her. The other kids seemed to accept her without question. But I wasn't like the others. I had this sense about things. My mom used to say I had a wild imagination. But it wasn't that. It was more like I could feel things, unsettling things, and that feeling of something being wrong never left when Mrs. Daniels was around. It wasn't until a few days in that I noticed something really strange. I had to take a late bus home that day, and I was walking through the front hall of the school when I saw her standing at the end of the corridor, her back to me. She was talking to someone, or something. At first I thought it was just another teacher, but the way she was standing, the angle of her body, it was wrong. Her shoulders were too hunched, too, angled. She was smiling, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. It never did. And that's when I saw it. From the corner of her mouth, just for a second, just a flicker, I thought I saw a glint of something shiny. Like teeth. But not just teeth. Something more. Grotesque. Something that didn't belong in a human mouth. I tried to shake it off, but the next day it happened again. And the day after that, and the day after that. Little things. Things I couldn't quite explain. A strange smell when she leaned over my desk. A flicker of movement just behind her, like a shadow shifting too quickly to catch. And there were always those eyes, watching, always watching. But it wasn't until the second week, when I was walking home alone, still trying to make sense of everything, that I realized just how deep it went. There's a little shop just off Main Street, an old crooked place that sells antiques and oddities. I'd passed it 1,000,000 times, but I'd never been inside. I was walking past it when I saw Mrs. Daniels standing in front of the window, her back to me. She was looking at something inside. I don't know what it was, but her eyes were wide. Not the calm, distant gaze I was used to, but wide with something else. Something frantic. Desperate, even. For a second I thought she was looking right through me, but then she turned. Her smile, that same thin-lipped smile, stretched just a little too wide as she noticed me. "You're out late, aren't you, dear?" she asked, her voice a velvet thread winding through the air. I couldn't speak. Something about her had shifted. She wasn't the teacher anymore. She was something else. Something older, something darker. I nodded, though my legs were shaking. She tilted her head, studying me. "It's important, you know," she whispered, voice lowering, "to always be careful about who you let into your life. Some people are predators." And then, as quickly as it had come, she was gone, stepping into the shop without another word. I don't know what I expected. Maybe an explanation, maybe for someone to tell me I was imagining it all. But that didn't happen. The next day, she was right back in the classroom, standing at the front like nothing had changed. But I couldn't look at her the same way. I had a feeling, a terrible, gnawing feeling that I was about to find out just what kind of predator she truly was. It's been a week now, and things are getting worse. I can't look at her without seeing the glint of something unnatural in her eyes. I can't stop thinking about that smile, the one that wasn't quite right. And the other kids, they don't see it. They never see it. But I do. And I think it's only a matter of time before it's too late to turn back. Chapter 2, The Twisted Mask. It started with the dreams. I should have known then. I should have realized that something had already shifted inside me, that the worst was coming, even though I couldn't understand what was happening. But the dreams, they made everything feel too real. Every night for the past week I've woken up in a cold sweat. My heart pounding, my breath shallow. The same dream, over and over. I'm standing in the classroom, alone. The walls seem to press in on me, the air thick with something I can't place. The lights flicker. Mrs. Daniels is at the front, but she's not standing anymore. No, she's crouching, hunched low, her hands trembling as she holds something in her lap. At first, I can't see what it is. But then I do. It's a mask, a pale porcelain mask. It's cracked, the edges jagged, and in the dim light I swear I can see something move behind the mask's hollow eyes. Mrs. Daniels turns her face toward me, her mouth stretched impossibly wide into that thin smile. It feels like it's cutting her face in two. The smile is wrong. It's not human. It's animal, like something too hungry to be satisfied. "You're late," she whispers in that strange voice of hers. "You've kept me waiting." And that's when I wake up. Always the same way, shivering, cold, the taste of metal in my mouth. At first I thought it was just stress. The new school, the strange feeling I got when I was around Mrs. Daniels. But these dreams, they're becoming too vivid, too real. I can't shake them. I try to avoid her as much as I can. I make excuses to leave class early or skip lunch, anything to escape her presence. But it's like she knows. She always knows where I am. Last Tuesday, I thought I saw her waiting outside the window of the school library, her eyes fixed on me through the glass. I ducked down, hiding behind a row of bookshelves, my heart beating so fast I thought I might faint. But when I looked again, she was gone. And then there was today. We were having a test, some dull history lesson about the town's past. Hollow Creek isn't exactly the most exciting place in the world, But that didn't stop Mrs. Daniels from dragging us through it like she was trying to draw out every single detail, every last drop of information. I was halfway through the test when I felt it. That pull. That sense of something watching me. I glanced up and there she was, standing at the front, staring at me. Her eyes were locked onto mine, piercing through me like they were searching for something hidden. It made my skin crawl, but I couldn't look away. It was like there was some magnetic force keeping me rooted to that spot. I tried to shift in my seat, but it felt like the air had thickened, like I was sinking into it. She moved then, slowly. Unnaturally slow, like she was forcing her body to go against some invisible current. And when she reached my desk, she didn't say a word. She just stood there, hovering, her gaze never leaving me. I wanted to speak, to say something, anything to break the tension. But the words didn't come. And then she smiled, but not like she ever had before. It wasn't that thin, tight-lipped smile she always wore. No, this one stretched, wider than humanly possible. Her lips cracked open, revealing teeth. Not just teeth, jagged teeth. Teeth that looked more like fangs. And beneath that smile I saw it, the mask, it was there, beneath her skin. For a moment I thought I was seeing things. I thought my mind was playing tricks on me, twisting everything into something worse. But no, it was real. I could see it clearly now. There was something wrong with her face, something unnatural, something that didn't belong. Her skin, her human skin, was stretched thin over something else. Something much older, much darker. And that mask, that pale, cracked thing, was pushing against her flesh like it was trying to escape. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. And then she spoke. Her voice wasn't soft or musical anymore. It was deeper, rougher, like gravel scraping against stone. "Don't worry," she said, leaning closer. "It'll all be over soon." I wanted to scream, but my mouth was dry. I couldn't even form a sound. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. She straightened up, and her face, her human face, was back. No mask, no fangs, nothing but the cold, unreadable smile. "I'll see you after school," she said, her voice back to normal, sweet and syrupy. "Don't be late." I didn't stay for the rest of the test. I couldn't. I grabbed my stuff and bolted out of that classroom like my life depended on it. I didn't know what was happening to her or to me, but I knew one thing for sure. Mrs. Daniels wasn't who she said she was. And I had a feeling that whatever was hiding beneath her skin was far more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. It's been a week since that day, and things have only gotten worse. The mask is everywhere now. I see it in the corners of my vision. I hear it when I close my eyes. I can't escape it. The worst part? I'm starting to see it in the other kids. It's subtle at first. They start to smile in the same way she does, with that same strange, hollow expression. They start to look at me the same way she does, like they know something I don't. I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending everything is normal. Something is changing, and I'm not sure if I'll make it out in one piece. There's one thing I'm certain of now. Mrs. Daniels isn't a teacher. She's a clown, and she's hunting me. Chapter 3, The Puppet Strings. I never told anyone about the mask. I thought I was losing my mind. Everyone else was acting so normal, too normal, and the more I tried to talk about it, the more I felt like I was sinking into something darker, something I couldn't fight. But the more I watched her, the more I began to see the signs. Little things, almost imperceptible, but they were there. The way she moved too fluidly, like she was a marionette whose strings had been pulled too taut. The way she sometimes paused in the middle of a sentence, like she had to remember what to say. Her smile, always there, always that same unsettling, lip-pulling grin, seemed to stretch further every day, like she was trying to swallow something whole. And then there was the way she looked at me. It wasn't just the usual predatory gaze anymore. It was as though she was trying to reach me, like there was something buried deep inside her, a secret too terrible to keep, but one she was desperately trying to drag into the open. I knew I couldn't keep running forever. The more I tried to avoid her, the more I felt her presence pressing on me. It was inescapable, like a weight on my chest, suffocating me from the inside out. And as I walked through the school hallways every day, I started noticing something else. The other students, the ones who'd once seemed so normal, were becoming different. They were changing in subtle ways, shifting under the same influence I was beginning to feel. It was like Mrs. Daniels had infected them, or maybe she had pulled them into whatever she was becoming. The thought made my stomach turn, but I couldn't ignore it. I had to find out what was really going on. It was Friday afternoon when I finally decided to confront her. I'd stayed after class, feigning interest in some extra credit work I didn't care about. The room had emptied out, leaving only me and her, and the silence felt too thick, like something was waiting in the air. She was standing at the front of the room, her back to me as she stared out the window, lost in thought. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the floor, stretching out like fingers reaching toward me. I don't know what compelled me to speak. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was something deeper, a gut instinct telling me that if I didn't act now, it would be too late. "Mrs. Daniels," I said, my voice barely more than a whisper. She didn't turn around. She didn't even acknowledge me. I took a step forward, my feet dragging like they were being pulled by some invisible force. "Mrs. Daniels, what's happening to you? What are you?" Finally she moved. Slowly, so slowly that I could hear the faintest creak of her joints as she turned to face me. The light from the window caught her face in a way that made her look almost otherworldly. The mask was there too. Not in her hands, but behind her eyes, like it was lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to burst out. "You shouldn't have asked that question," she said, her voice soft, syrupy, but with a hint of something darker. "There are things you don't understand, dear, things you aren't meant to." I backed away, my heart pounding in my chest. "What do you want from me?" Her smile stretched further, impossibly wide, until her lips cracked at the corners, revealing a row of jagged, yellowing teeth. "I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to make you see." I didn't understand what she meant, but I didn't have time to ask. In the blink of an eye, she was in front of me, too close, so close that I could smell the sickly sweet scent of something rotting on her breath. Her hands were cold, and when they touched my arm, I felt a jolt of electricity run through me. "You're like them now," she whispered, her voice barely audible, as if she were telling me a secret. "You're one of us." Before I could pull away, before I could even breathe, the world around me twisted. The walls of the classroom began to warp and stretch, the windows darkening like the sky had been drawn in a veil of shadows. It felt like I was falling, like I was sinking into the floor, deeper and deeper into the darkness. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, it stopped. I was back in the classroom, but everything had changed. The room was colder now, and the air was thick with the smell of something metallic, like blood. I could see the other students outside the door, standing in the hallway, but they weren't moving. They were frozen, their eyes wide and vacant, staring blankly at the door. And then I realized the truth. They weren't alive anymore. Not really. They were puppets. Marionettes, their strings pulled by Mrs. Daniels. They were trapped in her world, just like I was. "Welcome to the show," she said, her voice a low, rasping whisper. I turned, but she was gone. All that was left of her was the mask, the same pale, cracked thing that had been haunting my dreams. It was lying on the desk in front of me, as if it had always been there, waiting for me to take it. I don't know how long I sat there. Minutes? Hours? It felt like an eternity, but eventually I knew what I had to do. I had to leave. But I wasn't sure if I could. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to escape from this place. And as I walked toward the door, I couldn't help but wonder, what would happen if I put the mask on? What would happen if I became one of them? Would I be free? Or would I just become another puppet, trapped in Mrs. Daniels' twisted show forever? I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I know one thing for sure. Mrs. Daniels is getting closer. And I can feel the strings pulling tighter with every step I take. Chapter 4. The Marionette's Curse. The hallway outside the classroom felt colder than I remembered. The shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally, crawling up the walls and wrapping themselves around my legs. I could still hear the faint rustle of the other students in the corridor, but their voices were distant, like a far-off whisper in a storm. I turned and glanced back at the classroom door, half expecting to see Mrs. Daniels standing there, watching me, waiting for me to return. But the door was empty, silent. It didn't feel like a school anymore. It felt like a place that was only pretending to be real. Like the walls, the floors, the ceiling, they were all just a stage. And I was the only one left who wasn't playing along. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. The mask, that mask, kept pulling my thoughts back to it, gnawing at my mind like an infection that wouldn't let go. It had looked so innocent when I first saw it, lying there on the desk. But now, knowing what I knew, I could feel the weight of it, the power it held, the curse. I tried to shake the thoughts out of my head as I walked quickly down the hallway, trying to ignore the faces in the windows of the classrooms as I passed. They were all staring at me, pupils wide, unblinking, their expressions frozen in some vacant stupor. They weren't alive, not anymore. They were dead, like puppets who had lost their strings. And that was when I realized something that chilled me to my bones. I had just become one of them. I had crossed a line, and now I was stuck. The mask was no longer just an object. It was part of me. It had marked me, drawn me into its web of darkness. I could feel the strings pulling, tight, threatening to snap my will. I had to get out of there. I rushed to the door, my fingers fumbling with the cold handle. My heart was thumping in my chest, louder with every passing second. And then, just as I thought I was free, the door swung open. And there she was. Mrs. Daniels stood in the doorway, framed by the dim light from the hallway. She wasn't smiling anymore, not that twisted, wide grin that had haunted me for days. No, this time her lips were pressed together, tight, thin, as if she was waiting, watching, and she knew. She could feel the shift, the way my soul was starting to slip away, the way I was inching closer to her, closer to becoming part of the same cursed world she had built for herself. "You shouldn't have come out here," she said softly, her voice a silk thread that seemed to wrap itself around my body, making it hard to breathe. "But it's not too late. You can still join the show. You can still be part of the family." I took a step back, but she was too fast. She moved toward me, her feet barely touching the floor, her body fluid, like she wasn't bound by the same laws of nature as the rest of us. "No," I said, my voice trembling. "I won't let you do this to me. I won't become like them." She smiled, that smile, the one that didn't quite reach her eyes, but this time there was something different about it. Something darker. "You don't have a choice anymore," she whispered. "Once you see the strings, you can never unsee them, and you will see them, eventually." I felt the coldness creep into my bones as her words sank in. She was right. There was no escaping this. I could already feel the strings starting to tighten around me, invisible threads pulling at my skin, my thoughts, my very soul. I turned and ran. My feet pounded against the cold floor as I sprinted through the hallways, desperate to find a way out, to escape from the nightmare that had already swallowed me whole. But the school was changing. The walls seemed to close in on me, the air thick with the scent of something foul. The once familiar hallways twisted and warped, stretching into impossible angles, bending in ways that didn't make sense. I couldn't tell which way I was going anymore. The doors were all the same, lined up one after another, but none of them led anywhere. It felt like the school had become a maze, and I was trapped in the center, the walls pressing in from all sides. And all the while, I could hear them. The students, the ones who had already been claimed by her. They were whispering, their voices muffled, as if they were speaking through the walls, calling to me. I ran faster, but I could feel my body growing weaker, my muscles aching, my breath ragged. The strings were tight and pulling me toward her, toward the dark heart of the school. I had to get away. And then, just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I saw it. At the end of the hallway, just beyond the darkness, was the door to the outside, the exit. It was so close. I could almost reach it. But then I heard it. A soft click. I froze. My heart skipped a beat, and then, as if some invisible hand had reached into my chest and squeezed, I saw it. The mask. It was lying there, just in front of the door, its pale face gleaming in the dim light. I could see the cracks in its porcelain surface, the jagged edges that seemed to shimmer with a life of their own. And I knew, if I picked it up, it would be over. The strings would be fully tied. I'd be just another puppet, just another marionette in Mrs. Daniels' twisted, ever-expanding show. But I didn't have a choice. I couldn't resist. I reached out and picked up the mask. As my fingers touched the cold, smooth surface, I felt the world around me tilt like I had crossed some invisible threshold. The strings pulled tighter, and I could feel the weight of them now, heavy, suffocating, pulling me in every direction. And then everything went black. When I woke up, I was no longer in the hallway. I wasn't in the school at all. I was standing on a stage. The lights were dim, casting long shadows across the floor, and there in front of me was Mrs. Daniels, smiling that same wide smile. "Welcome to the show," she said, her voice echoing in the vast emptiness around us. And for the first time I realized something. I had become part of her world. I had become one of them, and I was never leaving. Chapter 5. The show must go on. I don't know how long I've been here. Time feels warped. It doesn't move the way it should. One moment I'm standing on that stage in front of Mrs. Daniels. The next I'm somewhere else entirely. But wherever I am, it's always the same. The shadows, the cold, the eyes that never blink. I try not to look at the mask, but it's there, always there, just out of my peripheral vision, like it's watching me too. Every time I turn my head, it's there, waiting as if it knows I can't resist it. And the worst part? I can feel it. It's like I'm wearing it, even though it's not on my face. It's like it's a part of me now, nestled under my skin, curling itself into my thoughts. But I can't dwell on that. I have to focus on getting out. The stage is different now. It's not like any stage I've seen before. It's more like an old theatre, the kind that has seen better days but still holds on to some dignity. The seats are empty, though. The audience is gone, replaced by the walls themselves. The stage seems to stretch on endlessly, just like the hallway did. The lights overhead flicker, casting eerie shadows across the room. I can hear whispers now. At first I thought it was the wind, but no, it's voices. My heart skips a beat. I recognize them. The students, they're still here. The ones who had changed, the ones who had been claimed by Mrs. Daniels. I don't know how or why, but I can feel them, even if I can't see them. Their presence is everywhere, lingering in the corners of the room just out of sight. They're watching me. And then, as if she had sensed my panic, Mrs. Daniels steps forward, her soft shoes making no sound against the wooden floor. "You've been wondering why you're here," she says, her voice sweet but with a sharp edge beneath it. "Wondering why you can't escape, why you feel the strings pulling tighter every day." I want to scream, but my throat feels dry. My mouth won't form the words. She smiles that wide, unsettling smile, and I feel the weight of it, like it's too much to bear. "You're part of the show now," she says, her voice a low hum. "You're part of the family, and in this world, family never leaves." I take a step back, heart pounding in my chest. "I don't belong here," I mutter, but it sounds hollow, even to me. I know it's not true. Part of me knows it isn't. Something inside me, something I can't ignore, is already starting to change. I can feel it in the way my hands shake, in the way my body moves, like I'm being controlled from the inside out. The strings are tightening, wrapping around my limbs, my thoughts. She reaches out, her hand cold as ice, and I flinch. "No, you belong here," she says, her voice soft, almost a lullaby. "You've always belonged here. You just didn't know it." I look away, but I can't escape her gaze. Her eyes, those dark, empty eyes, are locked onto me. There's something pulling me toward her, something magnetic and terrifying. She steps closer, and I feel the air shift, as if the walls themselves are leaning in, listening. "I think it's time for you to meet the rest of the family," she says, her voice suddenly dark, like it has a secret she's been holding just for me. And before I can move, she's gone. Disappeared, like smoke in the air, leaving behind nothing but a faint smell of flowers. The whispers grow louder. It's then that I realize something else. I'm not alone on this stage anymore. The students, my classmates, are here. They're all around me, their faces pale and lifeless, their bodies frozen in place like marionettes, their eyes wide open but empty, like something has sucked the life out of them. They're wearing masks, just like the one I saw on Mrs. Daniels, just like the one that keeps haunting my dreams. But it's not just the masks, it's their bodies. They're twisted, wrong. Some of them are bent at unnatural angles, their limbs stretched too far, too long. Others have their heads turned backward, their necks grotesque and contorted, like they've been snapped in half. Their smiles are stretched wide, teeth too sharp, too many. The glow of the mask pulses from within them, a sickly light that flickers with every move they make. I stumble backward, my hand gripping the edge of the stage as I try to steady myself. But it's no use. They're all staring at me now, their eyes fixed on me, waiting for something. And then, one by one, they begin to move. At first, it's slow, jerky. Their limbs jerk and twitch like they're still learning how to walk, how to function. But soon they start to glide across the floor, each step synchronized, as if they're being controlled by some invisible force. Their faces are frozen, their eyes dead, but the smile is always there, stretching wider, deeper, like it's becoming part of them. I back up, but the stage seems to stretch on forever. No matter where I go, they follow. They move with a fluidity that's both beautiful and terrifying, like they were born for this, born to dance on this stage, to play out their part in some twisted performance. And I realize then, with sickening clarity, that I'm the only one who isn't in step with them. I'm the only one who's still trying to escape, to break free from the strings, but they're closing in. They're coming for me. I turn, desperate, searching for any way out, but there is none. The door is gone. The walls have closed in, leaving nothing but the stage and the figures moving toward me in perfect unison. It's then that I feel it. The tug, the pull. The strings, tighter now, wrapping themselves around my chest, my arms, my neck. I try to fight it, to scream, but my mouth is dry, and my body is no longer my own. I can feel the mask on my face, even though it isn't there. I can feel it under my skin, twisting and pulling, seeping into me, taking me over. "Welcome to the show," Mrs. Daniels whispers, her voice coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. And then, just as everything goes black, I understand. The show never ends. The show never stops. And I will never be free. Because once you wear the mask, you're part of the family. And in this family, you never leave. Chapter 6. The curtain falls. I don't remember how I fell. 1 second, the stage was in front of me, and the next, I was falling through darkness. There was no floor, no walls, just the weight of the pull dragging me deeper and deeper into the abyss. The whispers were louder now, more frantic. My ears rang with them, a cacophony of voices all calling my name. No, not my name. Their names, their voices, their breath in my ears. It was all a blur, a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. But I felt it, the mask. It was there, inside me, slipping through my thoughts like a serpent coiling around my soul. Tightening, constricting. The strings wrapped around my ribs, pulling me in every direction at once, and the harder I struggled, the more they twisted. I tried to scream, but the sound never came. I couldn't even breathe. And then, just as quickly as it started, the falling stopped. The darkness was replaced by something else, something colder, more oppressive. A vast expanse of emptiness stretched out before me, and I was standing, no longer falling, but frozen in place. The stage, the walls, it was all the same. But now there was something more. The figures were standing still, their bodies frozen in mid-motion, their masks glowing in the dim light. The pupils in their eyes were gone, replaced by hollow black pits. They were no longer puppets. They were statues. I blinked, confused, my body trembling. What was happening? Why were they all still? Why wasn't anyone moving? And then I saw her. Mrs. Daniels stood at the center of the stage, illuminated by a single spotlight. She was different, though. There was something new about her, a change I couldn't quite place. She wasn't wearing the same green dress anymore. No, this time she was draped in a flowing black gown, the fabric swirling around her legs like a pool of ink. Her hair, dark, thick and wild, hung loose around her face, falling in tangled strands down to her shoulders. Her face, though, her face was alive in a way it had never been before. The smile had twisted beyond recognition, no longer just wide and hollow, but elongated and jagged. It had split. The edges of her mouth stretched too far, too wide, her teeth exposed like a beast's maw. And her eyes, those eyes, they were glowing, a faint sickly green, like the light behind them was bleeding through her skin. She stepped forward, her feet floating just above the ground, gliding silently over the stage as if gravity had no hold on her anymore. "You're here," she whispered, the voice almost sweet. "You've made it." I didn't know what she meant, but the pit in my stomach told me I wasn't going to like it. "What have you done?" I choked out, my voice raw and dry. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But I couldn't move. The strings had me. They were everywhere now, invisible threads pulling me in every direction, twisting around my limbs, my chest, my throat. Her eyes gleamed as she circled me, her presence swallowing me whole. "What have I done?" she repeated, the words a laugh in themselves. "Oh dear, I haven't done anything. Not yet." I shuddered, the air growing heavier, thicker. The whispers were louder now. They had become chanting, a rhythmic, pulsating chant that filled the air around me. I could feel the voices pressing into my skin, curling into my soul. They were in me now, taking root. "You see," she said, her voice dripping with satisfaction, "you are here because you belong here. We're all part of the same show, the same family." I shook my head violently, trying to clear the fog in my mind, trying to push her words away. "No," I rasped, "I don't belong here. I don't want to be part of this." Her eyes softened, just for a second. "You're already part of it, my dear. You always have been. It's just time for you to realize it." The floor beneath me trembled and I stumbled, my vision blurring. Something was shifting. The figures, the puppets, began to move again, but this time it was different. They were no longer puppets, they were like me. I could feel them. They could feel me, their heads tilted as if they were looking at me for the first time. I could see the hunger in their eyes now, the desire to become. They were waiting for something, for me. "You're the last one," Mrs. Daniels said softly, her voice caressing the air. "You've been resisting for so long, but the time is coming when you won't fight anymore. You'll accept what you are." I tried to move again. I tried to push back the overwhelming pull that had taken hold of me, but it was impossible. The strings were everywhere, twisting through my veins under my skin. I could feel them tightening with each passing moment, pulling me into place like I was being sewn into a new form. I could feel the mask now. It was inside me, crawling under my flesh. I could feel it pushing outward, forcing me into a new shape, a new identity. It wasn't just a mask anymore. It was me. I could hear it in my thoughts, in my soul. It was a part of me. A sickening realization hit me. I was the mask. I was already wearing it. I had been from the moment I stepped into this cursed school, the moment I met Mrs. Daniels. The mask had claimed me, just like it had claimed everyone before me. And now there was no escape. As the whispers grew louder, more frantic, I understood. The show would never end. We were all trapped, performers in the endless cycle, the eternal puppet show, and once the curtain fell, there would be no rising again. I had become a puppet, and there was no one left to cut the strings. The stage was silent. The audience, still and unmoving, waited in the dark. Mrs. Daniels stepped back, her twisted smile gleaming in the dim light. The show had only just begun. Chapter 7. The Final Act. I don't know how long I've been here. Time doesn't mean anything anymore. It's all a blur, a series of fractured moments, looping endlessly like a broken record. The stage is my world now. It stretches on forever, no matter which way I turn. The lights dim and brighten, but nothing ever changes. The audience is always there, their eyes wide and empty, staring at me, at us. The rest of the family, my new family, stands with me on the stage, their bodies stiff, their faces frozen in that same grotesque, warped smile. Their movements are all synchronized now, like a dance choreographed by something ancient, something beyond human understanding. But I don't belong with them. I know it. Or at least, I used to know it. I try to remember who I was before. I try to reach back, to grasp the fragments of myself that still cling to the edges of my mind. But the harder I try, the more they slip away, fading into the shadows like ghosts. It's as if I've become part of the stage itself, part of the performance, and there's no way out. Mrs. Daniels watches me from the shadows, her eyes glowing in the dark. She's always watching, always waiting, and every time I catch her gaze, I feel the strings tighten just a little more. I can feel her pulling at me, at my soul, dragging me deeper into this place, this show. The mask. I can still feel it. It's not just under my skin anymore. It's in my mind, in my very thoughts. It whispers to me, urging me to embrace it, to become one with it. I can't escape it. And the worst part is, I don't know if I want to anymore. There's a pull, a lure that tugs at me, tempting me to surrender completely, to let the mask take over. But I fight it. I fight it with every ounce of strength I have left, even though I don't know how much strength I have anymore. You're still resisting. Mrs. Daniels says, her voice floating out of the shadows, soft and sweet, but edged with something darker. Why fight it? You're one of us now. You belong here. I can feel her words sink into my chest, deep into my bones. They settle there, heavy and cold, like a weight that's been dragging me down all this time. And I can't help but wonder for a fleeting second if she's right. If I belong here. I shake my head. No, I won't give in. But even as I think it, I know the truth. The mask is too strong. The strings are too tight. There's no escaping this. You're almost there, Mrs. Daniels whispers again, her voice sliding into my ear like a snake. It's only a matter of time. The show will go on, whether you want it to or not. We all have our part to play. I turn my head, desperate to see something, anything that might offer me a way out. But the stage is the same. The audience is the same. The family is the same. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I see something that makes my heart stop. One of the figures, one of the puppets, has moved. No, it's not just moving, it's looking at me. Its eyes are no longer vacant. They're full of something. Something dark, something alive. I stare at it, my breath catching in my throat. For a moment I wonder if I'm seeing things. But no. The figure is standing, swaying slightly, its head tilted in a way that isn't natural, and then it takes a step toward me. I don't know why, but I take a step back. The strings pull at me, urging me to stay in place, to play my part, but I ignore them. I have to move. I have to do something. Don't resist, Mrs. Daniels says, her voice like a soft lullaby in the background. You can't fight it, not anymore. I don't listen to her. I can't. I refuse. The puppet... No, it's not a puppet anymore. It's alive. It's a person who's been trapped here just like me, but who's finally breaking free. I watch as it reaches out, its hand trembling. It's almost like it's afraid of what it might become, afraid of what it might have to do. But I understand. I know. It's scared. Because it knows, just like I do, that once you break free, there's no going back. I take another step back, another. My legs shake beneath me, and my chest feels tight like I can't breathe. And then the figure speaks. Its voice is low, guttural, but familiar. It's a voice I've heard before, a voice I know. You don't have to stay here, it says, its words barely more than a whisper. You can still leave. You don't have to be part of this. I freeze. My eyes widen. I know that voice. I know who it is. It's me. The puppet, the figure standing in front of me, is me. It's me, but twisted. Its face is pale and gaunt, its eyes hollow, its lips pulled back into that same grotesque smile, but it's me. It's me. No, I whisper, shaking my head. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be them. The figure reaches out again, its hand trembling, and I can feel the weight of it pressing down on me. The strings tug harder. They're pulling me in, pulling me toward the figure. Toward myself. I try to move, to run, but the strings won't let me. They won't let me. The figure takes another step closer, and now I can see it clearly. It's wearing the mask. The same cracked porcelain mask that I had seen all those days ago, lying on the desk. It's wearing it, and it's staring at me with those hollow eyes. I was you, the figure says, its voice thick with regret. I was you before I gave in, before I accepted it, before I became part of the family. I try to push away, but the strings bind me tighter. There's no escaping this. The figure's hand reaches out to touch me, and as it does, I feel a cold rush of energy surge through me. I feel myself, the mask, the strings, the family. They're all pulling me in, tightening their grip on me, forcing me into place. I want to scream, but there's no sound. I want to fight, but my body won't move. The figure smiles, and for a brief moment I see the truth in its eyes. It's too late. The show must go on. And now it's my turn to perform. Chapter 8. The Final Performance. I don't know when it happened. One moment, I was standing there, paralyzed, fighting with every ounce of my being to escape. The next, I was on stage, and I had no memory of how I got there. The stage is set for the performance. The lights burn bright and harsh, the shadows stretching long across the floor. I can feel the heat of the spotlight on my face, blinding, suffocating. My limbs are stiff, like they belong to someone else. My body moves without my consent, each step, each gesture, as if I'm a puppet, and the strings are controlling me. I look around, searching for something, anything that might help me wake up, but I see only the audience, the dark, empty faces staring at me. The seats stretch endlessly into the distance, all of them occupied by the same lifeless, vacant stares. They are waiting. They are always waiting. And then I hear her. Her voice, soft and syrupy, slides through the air like a whisper in the dark. "It's your turn," Mrs. Daniels says, her presence a weight I can feel even when I can't see her. Her voice surrounds me, fills the space, and I know that she is watching me, her dark eyes never leaving me for a second. The lights flicker, casting long, twisting shadows across the stage, and I feel the pull again. The strings. I can't escape them. They're inside me now, tangled in my veins, in my thoughts. I am part of this show. I am the puppet. The audience begins to clap. It's slow at first, hesitant, as though they don't quite know how to react. But the more they clap, the louder it gets, until the sound fills the air, thundering, pressing down on me. It's like they're not just applauding, they're feeding on me, on my every movement, my every breath. The stage feels smaller, tighter. I can feel the walls closing in around me, pushing me toward the center. My chest tightens with every breath I take, and I want to scream. I want to tear the strings from my body, to rip them out of my skin, but I can't. I'm locked in. And then the mask. It appears in my hands. I don't know how it got there, but it's there, cold and heavy, like an ankh pulling me down. The porcelain face stares up at me, its cracked surface gleaming in the light. The eyes are hollow, the smile stretched and grotesque. I can feel its power, its pull. It is me now. I am it. The mask is part of me. It's no longer just something I can put on. It's become me. It's been woven into the fabric of my soul, into the strings that bind me to this stage. I don't have to wear it to be trapped by it. It's already inside me. I hold it up, feeling the weight of it in my hands, and for a moment I almost think I can see something behind its hollow eyes. A reflection, a glimpse of myself, not twisted and broken, but whole. I almost think I can see the person I used to be. But the vision vanishes as quickly as it came, and I am left holding the mask. I take a step forward. The audience watches, and the applause grows louder. I feel their eyes on me, every single one of them, pressing into me like needles. I am the show. The strings tighten, pulling me toward the center of the stage, and I know what's coming. I know what I must choice now. Mrs. Daniels' voice fills my ears again, soft, patient, like a mother coaxing a child to bed. "Put it on," she whispers. "It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to perform." The words echo in my mind, and the pull is undeniable. My hand lifts, moving without my permission, and I bring the mask closer to my face. For a brief, fleeting moment, I want to resist. I want to scream. I want to fight. But the mask calls to me. Its pull is too strong, too deep. It's in my blood, in my very bones, and I can't escape it. I place it on my face. The world shifts. The moment the mask touches my skin, everything changes. The light flickers, the shadows twist, and the sound of the audience fades into a low, deafening hum. It's like the world has fallen away, leaving only the mask and me. I can feel it. The strings are gone, not in the way I expected. They aren't physically gone, but I no longer feel them pulling at me. Instead, I feel complete, whole, in a way that is terrifying and absolute. The mask doesn't just fit my face. It becomes my face. It becomes me. And as it does, I realize something else. The audience isn't just watching. They are waiting. Waiting for me to finish my performance. Waiting for me to take my place in the never-ending show. I can feel their hunger, their need to see me perform, to see me become just like the others, just like her. They want me to play my part. They want me to accept this. I don't know how long I've been on this stage, but I can feel my mind slipping away, piece by piece. The mask is inside me, inside my thoughts. It's becoming harder to remember who I was, harder to remember why I fought this in the first place. But then, as I stand there, lost in the haze of the show, I see her again. Mrs. Daniels. She steps onto the stage, her smile wide, her eyes glowing. She's standing in front of me now, her presence overwhelming. She doesn't speak. She doesn't have to. She simply stands there, her arms wide, welcoming me into the family. And I realize, with a jolt of clarity, that I am no different than the rest of them now. I am part of the show. I am a puppet, and I will never leave. The audience roars in approval, their voices rising in a deafening crescendo. The curtain falls and the world goes black, but the show goes on. Always. The show never ends. Chapter 9. Behind the Mask. I wish I could say it stopped there, but the truth is it's never over. Not for us, not for me. The show doesn't end with the final bow. There is no curtain call. It goes on forever, spinning in the same loop, the same routine, the same performance. We are stuck in it. We are stuck here on this stage, with the audience watching, their eyes hungry, waiting for the next act. And I am the act. I can feel the mask now, not just on my face, but in every part of me. It's become my skin, my breath, my heartbeat. I can't tell where I end and it begins. It's everything. It controls me. I wear it, yes, but it wears me too. The world outside the stage is a blur. It's like there was never anything else. No life before, no possibility of an escape. The stage is all there is. The lights, the audience, the applause, the performance. It's all that exists. I don't even remember my own name anymore. I don't remember who I used to be. The others, my family, move with me now. We are in sync. We are one. They too wear the mask, each of them a reflection of me and my twisted, broken self. There are no individuals here. There is only us. I catch glimpses of their eyes, the other performers, the puppets. Their faces are pale, cracked like porcelain. The mask is painted on them, embedded into their very essence. They are as lost as I am, and yet we are all part of the same show. We are stuck in this never-ending act. But somewhere deep within the layers of my thoughts, I still feel a flicker of something. A memory. There is a part of me that remembers the before the mask, before the stage. A time when I was me. A time when I could breathe without it, when I could think without the strings pulling, without the whispers curling around my mind. The realization shakes me. For a fleeting moment, I know that there is something else. There is a way out. But it's not as simple as stepping off the stage. It's not as simple as running away, because the show never lets you leave. I try to focus on that flicker, that small shred of awareness, but it's hard. The mask doesn't want me to remember. The mask doesn't want me to think. It wants me to perform. It wants me to give in. But I can't. Not yet. For the first time in what feels like forever, I try to break free. I try to pull away from the others, from the performance. The others notice, and they move in closer, their bodies stiff, jerking toward me in unison. Their eyes are empty, like they're nothing more than marionettes on invisible strings. I feel them all staring at me, waiting for me to fall back in line. But I can't. I won't. I stagger backward, my body moving of its own accord as if it has a mind outside my own. I can't make my legs stop. I can't make my hands stop moving in sync with the others. The mask presses against my face, a heavy, cold weight. It wants me to smile. It wants me to be the puppet. It wants me to take my place. But I won't let it. In the chaos of the movement, of the performance, I hear a voice, a soft, familiar voice, whisper from behind me. You can still break free. I spin around, my heart racing, and there, standing on the edge of the stage, is me. No, it's not exactly me. It's a version of me. A reflection like the others, but not quite as warped. There is something about this figure, this shadow of myself, that seems different. It stands apart, staring at me with eyes that aren't vacant, that aren't empty. Who are you, I ask, my voice trembling as I struggle against the pull of the mask, the pull of the show. The figure, me, doesn't speak at first. It just looks at me, its expression one of sadness, of understanding. You're still fighting, it says quietly, almost as if it's offering a warning, a promise. But you've been here longer than you realize, longer than you can remember. You're just another puppet, another part of the performance. You can't escape, not unless you do something drastic. I swallow hard, trying to push back against the rising panic. What do you mean? The figure steps forward, its face growing clear in the shadows. The mask is only the beginning, it says, its voice low. But there's more. There's always more. I shake my head, desperately clinging to the idea of freedom, clinging to that small spark of resistance within me. No, I can't. I can't be a part of this. I won't be another puppet. The figure smiles, a sad, knowing smile. You already are. And then in that moment I feel it. The strings. They tighten around me, all at once, and I fall to my knees, gasping for air. I can feel the mask pressing harder against my face, forcing its way into my very being. It's inside me now, not just on me. It's controlling me. It's everything. I look up at the figure, at myself, and for the first time I realize the truth. There is no escape. There is no breaking free. The show is eternal. The mask is all I will ever be. The performance will never end, and I will never leave. I close my eyes, and as I do, the mask accepts me completely. I can feel the final pieces of myself slipping away, fading into the background as the show takes over. The audience is applauding. The lights are burning bright. The music swells, the show goes on, and I am the show. Chapter 10. The Endless Applause. The final curtain never falls. The lights never dim. The applause never fades. I can hear it now, the slow and steady rhythm of clapping, as if the audience is forever locked in a moment of adoration, and I, the puppet, the performer, am bound to them, bound to this stage. There's no escape. There is no end. There's just the perpetual echo of approval, the constant hum of the audience's hunger, and I am the centre of it all. The mask is part of me. It's not just a thing I wear, not anymore. It's my skin. It's my face. It's my mind. The thoughts that used to be mine are slipping away, replaced by the will of the stage, by the will of the show. The strings that bind me, they are no longer invisible. I can see them now, sharp and unyielding, woven through my very being. They are part of me. I can feel them pulling, tugging me into the motions, into the performance. I try to remember who I was. I try to recall the moments before this, when I was free. But they are fading, like a dream that slips away as soon as I open my eyes. I remember a name, a face, a life. But it's distant, unreachable. It's as if the very act of remembering pulls me further from the truth. I glance out into the audience, the faceless figures that once seemed so distant, so passive, but now I see them clearly. They are not just watching me, they are feeding on me. Their eyes, black and hollow, are fixed on me, and the applause is not just sound. It's a pulse, a rhythm that thrums through the air, filling my chest with a strange warmth, like fire, like hunger. I am their puppet. I am the centre of their world. There's a strange sense of satisfaction in it, even though I know deep down that I should resist, that I should fight. But I can't. The mask is too powerful. The strings are too tight. The show has taken me completely. I try to move, just a little. A step to the left. A twitch of my fingers. And immediately I feel the response from the audience, the surge of energy that follows my every movement. They want this. They need this. Every motion, every word, every gesture is part of the performance they crave, part of the endless cycle that will never cease. And I can feel it now, the connection between us, the bond that ties me to them, that locks us in this unbreakable loop. And then, for the first time since I put on the mask, I understand. This is the show. The show is everything. The audience, the performers, the strings, the mask, all of it is one. We are all connected in this eternal cycle, this unending performance, and there is no way out. We are bound to it. We are part of it. And I am no longer alone. I look around at the other performers, at the puppets, the family. They are all here, moving in perfect synchronization, their faces expressionless, their movements smooth and controlled. They are not individuals anymore. They are all just parts of the show. And I see now, as I stand among them, that we are all the same. We are all puppets. The applause grows louder. It's like a wave crashing over me, filling me, surrounding me. The faces in the audience, those hollow black eyes, are all I see. Their mouths are open, but they make no sound. The silence of their hunger is louder than anything I've ever heard. It fills the air with a sense of weight, of inevitability. They are waiting for me, waiting for my next move, and so I perform. I become the puppet. I dance for them. I spin. I bow. I move as they want me to, and they applaud louder, feeding on every step, every twitch. I hear their cheers, their demands for more, and I give it to them. I give them everything. But in the back of my mind, that flicker of something that used to be me, still remains. It's weak. It's small. But it's there, and for a moment, I wonder if I can still fight it. Can I break free? Can I tear away from the mask, from the stage, from the show? But the audience's applause swells, and that flicker dims. The applause fills the space between the thoughts, drowning them out. It is all that matters now. The applause is everything. I am the show. And when the lights dim, when the audience goes quiet, when the strings are pulled taut again, I know the truth. There will be no end. There is no escape. The show goes on, and I am trapped in it. The curtain never falls. The performance never stops, and I will never be free. I close my eyes and the applause continues, forever.